that's dead and given new life. Didn't make sense, but it changed my mind. That's heaven on earth right now. God's turning all this upside down. He's gonna take that pain and turn it into hope, breaking off chains when the world says no. Can I tell you about the love I found? God's turning all this upside down.
Upside down, 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 turn it upside. Inside out, 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 turn it outside. Upside down, 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 turn it upside. Inside out, 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 turn it up.
I know the Bible is one of the most important and influential books of all time, but what is it exactly?
Yeah, some people talk about the Bible like it's a big rule book that fell out of heaven.
Other people use the Bible like a textbook written to answer all of our questions about God, or like a big collection of inspirational one-liners.
Here's the thing. The Bible isn't written as a rule book, or a theology dictionary, or even as a collection of inspirational writings.
Then what is the Bible?
Well, open up the Bible to page 1 and read the first few words.
In the beginning.
Now, turn to the last chapter of the Bible where you can read this.
And they reigned forever and ever. Okay, so the Bible is telling a story from beginning to end.
Yes, it's an epic narrative about how God has made humans his partners to take care of the amazing world he created. It's about how we ruined that partnership by rebelling against God, and now he is restoring us and our world through Jesus.
So an awesome story, but there's a lot going on. Inside the Bible are a bunch of different books with their own stories and characters.
Here's what's so amazing. Every book has been designed to be a part of and enrich the overall storyline.
And knowing how to read the Bible helps us not to get lost.
There are also important themes repeated throughout the entire biblical story. A big theme in the Bible are the covenants or promises that God makes with people.
And the hope for a human hero who will defeat evil.
Every theme comes alive in the story of Jesus.
There are also a lot of strange words in the Bible. Words I don't really know.
When we take the time to understand those strange words, we discover ideas that help us understand the overall story of the Bible.
Reading the Bible takes work.
It's not a book that just gives you all the answers right away. The Bible takes you on a journey.
I love journeys.
The Bible is a work of literary genius, and the more we read and study God's Word, the more it changes the way we live and how we think about everything. The Bible is a one-of-a-kind book that will challenge you and change you.
And takes you on an epic journey.
Today's Bible text is taken from Luke 6:27 and 28, and it says, "But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who spitefully use you." Thank you.
Okay, so I've organized my comics in 3 different groups: superheroes, scary stuff, and the weird sci-fi stuff.
I only brought one, but I'm sure you've never read it.
The Kingdom Seekers.
It's about a group of kids who live in a very unusual town called Cricket Creek.
Just how unusual is this town?
See for yourself. Cricket Creek is a quiet little town. There's a gazebo and a post office and a burger stand that serves homemade root beer. If you stay long enough, you will discover an old submarine hatch in the forest behind the town. Open the hatch and you will find a ladder that leads deep underground into a secret bunker. Welcome to Cricket Creek, home of the Kingdom Seekers.
He who is of pure heart stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Lord will be prospered. He who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but whoever walks wisely will be delivered. Proverbs chapter 28, verses 25 and 26.
When our story opens, the Kingdom Seekers are dealing with an owl problem.
An owl problem?
Guys, I think he's still in here.
The owl followed the transmissions from Zach's owl transponder.
You think?
I'm gonna try to communicate with him again. Guys, let's be honest. This owl's totally outplaying us here.
That's David. He's the leader.
How did it even get in the bunker?
That's Kira, martial arts specialist.
Zach, let the hatch open.
That's Allie. She's the most logical of the crew.
You left the hatch open?
How else was he gonna hear my owl sonic transmissions?
Who is the guy with the spaghetti strainer on his head?
That's Allie's brother, Zach. He's an inventor, although his projects don't typically work as expected.
Owl Sonic?
Like, owl language. Hey, let's focus. We're gonna do a 4-on-1 all-out blitz. See how our winged friend likes to be outnumbered. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Seekers!
What exactly did they plan to do once they caught the owl?
You know, I'm not really sure.
So, they didn't catch him?
You could say that.
I got it. Go for David?
It's me.
Oh, hey, Sheriff.
You guys busy?
Nah,
Good. I got something I think you should see.
we'll be right up.
Who's that?
Sheriff Locke, he needs us to see something. Allie, you stay here with your brother.
What? I don't want to stay here with my annoying big brother.
Well, if we leave him down here, he's gonna destroy the whole place.
Zach or the owl?
The good-hearted sheriff of Cricket Creek had called for the seekers' help because earlier that day he received a very unusual package at the station.
Jack, you okay in there?
I put an extra pillow in your cell.
You want any tea? All right then.
The sheriff just finished his rounds and was settling in to work on his detective novel.
He wrote a detective novel?
It's a work in progress.
It's not one of those with an overly dramatic narrator who uses cheesy, nonsensical metaphors, is it?
Well,
It was a dull and gray day. The kind of day that makes you want to buy a million bags of Skittles and pour them in a giant swimming pool just to see all the colors. Were Skittles invented back in the old days? I was working on the toughest case of my career. One thing I knew, I was hungry for answers. And a giant turkey club with mayo, mustard, and extra pickled anchovies. I was thinking of inviting Miss Maggie down at the old theater out for lunch. That's when the phone began to ring, like an angry alarm clock way too early in the morning.
Detective Lake, Sheriff Lake, Sheriff Locke here. Oh, hi, Marcy. I'm just at the station. Of course, I'm here. You called me. Yeah, anywho, I'm not working on my classically dramatic mystery novel based on a young, handsome detective battling life, love, and the case that got away. Yeah. I did get them. Yeah, I did. Yes, I did get your flyer. It's right here, holding right onto it. Yeah, I'm gonna put them wherever I go.
the sheriff's friend, Marcy, is running a Save the Cricket Creek Theater fundraiser.
What are they trying to save it from?
Someone is trying to have it torn down. They're trying to raise enough money to buy back the deed. Otherwise,
No more theater.
You know what? I bet you're gonna raise so much money, you'll build 2 times the theaters. You're gonna build that theater 2 times over. Yeah, it'll be great for the community. Okay. Right, okay. Bye, Maggie. Marcy, Maggie's not in my mystery novel. It's not important. Okay, bye, Marcy. Okay. Okay, yeah. Jack, is that you? There's a reason to smile and not to frown when the whole world turns upside down. For your next clue, go to the street named after the one with beautiful feet.
May God grant you what you have asked of him. First Samuel 1:17.
Hey everyone, welcome to Zach's Gadget Corner. Looking at all my inventions, a lot of them work the way I expected. And some have not.
Here's the updated damage report on the recent owl incident. I don't know.
Thanks, sis. Sometimes we don't work the way we're supposed to. For instance, in this world we have wars, lies, selfishness, and anger. But Jesus says we can work way better if we take all the negative values in this world and turn them upside down. Take my upside down time machine, for example. It makes time run backwards instead of forwards.
Wouldn't that just be a time machine then?
Well then, I thought this was a time machine.
That's a clock. Anyways, you can't make time run upside down. Doesn't work.
Back to what I was saying. We can work the way we were made to be by taking all the bad things in this world and turning them upside down and focusing on God's good values. We can do this by caring for one another and helping those that are in need. In fact, Jesus tells us to love even our enemies. This is a completely different way to live. You know, thinking about it, when I power on my upside down time machine, it probably won't turn time backwards.
Anyways, you can't make time run upside down.
Is it just me, or did that seem like it just happened?
No snakes. No snakes. No snakes. No snakes. No snakes. No snakes. No snakes.
Hey, Sheriff.
Ah! Oh, David, Kira, I thought you guys were snakes.
You don't think there are any out here, do you?
Snakes in the forest. No.
What'd you want to show us?
I was at the station and I heard something. Walked out of my office. Found this box of sand.
Sand?
In the sand was an egg.
An egg?
In the egg was this riddle.
There's a reason to smile and not to frown when the whole world turns upside down. For your next clue, go to the street named after the beautiful feet. I'm gonna send this to Allie and Zach for analysis.
Oh, what's that?
Save the Cricket Creek Theater?
Yeah. Marcy's trying to raise money to repair the old theater. Thinks it'll, bring the community back together.
That's actually a great idea.
I know, right? Unfortunately, she's having trouble raising money, so that's why I'm putting these wherever I go.
So, how's the owl thing going?
It's going good, yeah. It's going great.
It was not going well.
What are you working on, sis?
Oh, just a riddle for a case Sheriff Locke is working on.
There's a reason to smile and not to frown when the whole kingdom turns upside down.
No offense, big bro, but stick to your mechanical... Wait, what did you say?
What?
You said upside down kingdom.
Yeah, and?
Well, that's not what it says.
Huh, you're right. I should probably stick to talking to owls.
But upside down kingdom, that sounds familiar.
While Allie and Zach worked on the riddle, David, Kira, and the sheriff made their way out of the forest and into town. Avoiding all snakes, of course.
Oh, you see, right over there? That's where I take my archery lessons. Uh-huh. Oh, and down that street, I almost rode my bike there for the very first time. Decided against it, just didn't feel right.
I'll get it. Go for Kira.
Hey, I think I have something on that riddle. The upside down thing has to do with God's kingdom.
How is upside down a reference to God's kingdom?
It has to do with the values of God's kingdom being different from the world's, or upside down.
Okay, but what about the feet thing?
That's the cool part. Isaiah 52:7 says how beautiful on the mountains are the feet of the messenger who brings the good news. The good news about Jesus.
The feet belong to the messenger.
And the street is named after the one with beautiful feet.
Messenger Road.
Bingo.
Thanks, Allie. So it looks like we're going to Messenger Road.
It's a Messenger Road.
Apparently our next clue.
You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. Acts 1:8.
There's this really interesting poem in the book of Isaiah that talks about beautiful feet. So Jerusalem, the spiritual homeland of the Jewish people, has been destroyed by a powerful empire called Babylon. Most of the people were sent away from their homeland as captives. Some of the poor people were left in the city to care for the land. And everyone is wondering, what in the world just happened?
Wasn't Jerusalem supposed to be the city where God would rule and bring peace and blessing to the world?
That's why the people were so confused. They felt like God had abandoned them.
Yeah, I mean, everything is destroyed.
The prophet Isaiah had been telling everyone that living corrupt lives and turning away from God would lead to this very thing.
Isaiah's warnings came true.
But the poem isn't over. It goes on to say that there's a watchman on the city walls who spots a messenger far out in the hills. The messenger is running toward the city, shouting, "Good news! Good news!" That's when Isaiah says how beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news.
What exactly does that mean?
The feet are beautiful because they are carrying a beautiful message.
What's the message?
That even though Jerusalem had been destroyed, God still reigns as king, and he will come back to the city one day, sit on his throne, and bring peace.
So the watchmen sing for joy because of the good news that God is still king.
Right. Now jump over to the New Testament. We see the same phrase, good news, which is the Greek word evangelion. You might hear it with the word gospel.
So when Christians say, "Do you believe the gospel?" they mean, do you believe the news?
Not just any news. In the Bible, this phrase is always about announcing the reign of a new king.
King Jesus.
Right. And in the New Testament, this phrase is used to summarize all of Jesus' teachings. They say he went about spreading the good news of God's kingdom.
So, Jesus saw himself as the messenger bringing the good news.
But the way Jesus described God's reign was very different from what people were expecting.
What were they expecting?
When you think of the successful kingdom, what do you think of?
Strength, power, a kingdom that can destroy its enemies.
But Jesus said the greatest in God's kingdom was the weakest.
The greatest is the weakest? That doesn't make sense.
It does when you understand what God values. Jesus said the greatest is the one who loves and serves the poor. That living under God's rule means loving your enemies, forgiving them, and seeking peace.
Which is really different from the ways we act sometimes.
God's kingdom is an upside-down kingdom because it operates by a completely different set of values.
Upside-down kingdom. I like that.
There's this really interesting story about a Roman officer who begs Jesus to heal someone in his house. He even bows down and calls Jesus his Lord.
A powerful Roman officer bowing to Jesus.
And here's what's interesting. Jesus acknowledges what this man recognized, something that no one else did. That not only was Jesus announcing God's kingdom, he was the king. Jesus appointed 12 disciples,
which are an image of Israel's 12 tribes.
Jesus went around healing people and forgiving them of their sins. And the religious leaders of Israel were so upset by everything Jesus was doing that they decided to stop him
by having him killed.
And here's the thing, Jesus let them.
Hold on, he let them? I mean, that's a weird thing to do if you're trying to become king.
For Jesus, this is what had to happen. Jesus saw the sin of his people, Israel, as just one small part of the big human problem.
That all of mankind has rebelled against God and caused devastation over our whole world.
So how was God going to bring his reign over this kind of corrupt world?
By a tragic act of sacrificial love for his enemies.
Jesus' death on the cross.
Which is why the Gospels describe Jesus' death as his way of becoming the true king of the Jews.
He gets a crown, a robe. He's lifted up, not onto a throne, but onto a cross. How beautiful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news. And the good news now is that Jesus has defeated death. He is alive and he is the true king.
He conquered our sin through his life, his death, and his love.
Jesus sends out his followers to keep announcing the good news of the upside-down kingdom.
And and to invite everyone to accept Jesus as their king.
The true king who defeated death with his love.
So when people talk about believing the gospel, they mean the good news that Jesus is king.
That's right. And the reason this is good news is because Jesus is such a good, loving, and just king. And he invites everyone to be part of his upside-down kingdom by following God's ways.
We call it the upside-down kingdom because God's values are completely different from the world's.
Right, like when Jesus says, love others, even your enemies.
Jesus said the greatest in his kingdom is not the one with the most power, money, popularity.
He said the greatest is the one who acts like a servant, the one who loves and helps others in need.
This is a completely different way to live.
Being committed to Jesus means learning from him and actually doing what he teaches.
When we follow Jesus, we are acting as true citizens for God's kingdom.
Upside down, 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 turn it upside. Inside out, 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 turn it outside. Upside down, 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 turn it upside. Inside out, 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 turn it up.
Living my way is right side up. It feels good and it's easy enough. I get along like everybody else, doing what I do, looking out for myself. But there's something that's missing. I'm a human with limits. Well, thank God he flips it. Before I break me down, gonna take that pain, turn it into hope, breaking off chains when the world says no. Can I tell you about the love I found? God's turning all this upside down.
Upside down, 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 turn it upside. Inside out, 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 turn it outside. Upside down, 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 turn it upside. Inside out, 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 turn it up.
Too much trouble in the world today. I feel like better days are rolls away. I found peace right under my feet. Yeah, my God's flipping, upside down living.
It's gonna take that pain and turn it into hope, breaking off chains when the world says no. Can I tell you about the love I found? God's turning all this upside down. He's gonna take what's dead and give it new life. Didn't make sense, but it changed my mind. That's heaven on earth right now. God's turning all this upside down. And he loves to love the loveless, and he cares for those who are lost, and he leaves the 99 to give his life for his beloved. He is perfect in his ways, there is kindness in his face, and he's mighty in his power over death and to the grave. He's alive and he is active, he is working in all things for the good of those who love him, for his kingdom never sleeps. He is Alpha and Omega, he is God and he is King, and in him we live and move and have our being.
At this time we're going to be transitioning over to our Zoom study rooms. Remember that's tier 2 of the investment. So we're going to be heading over to our Zoom rooms right at this time. But right before we do that, I want to thank everyone who participated in our service today, the people who did the welcome, who did the prayer, our worship team for leading us out in wonderful music, and our technical team for making you be able to see all these kind of things, right? So I want to thank everyone who participated, and at this time we're going to be transitioning over to our Zoom rooms. You guys know the drill? 3 clicks, you click on the link in the description, you get to our website, you click on Sabbath Zoom Rooms, and voila, you are there. We have Zoom rooms for everyone, from children to teenagers to young adults to adults. So wherever you fall in that spectrum, you could find yourself in one of our Zoom rooms. Right before we go today, we're going to have one more song from our worship team, our closing song, our song of departure, our closing song today from our praise team. So I encourage you to stand, or sit up, or just straighten up your body as we sing one last song from Come on, praise team. And it's a question. It's really a question we're going to ask you as we leave. Question is, hey, will your anchor hold? Praise team, take it away, guys. Let's go.
Great. Will your anchor hold? Hymn number 534.
Will your anchor hold in the storms of life when the clouds unfold their wings of strife, when the strong tides lift and the cable strain? Will your anchor drift or firm remain? We have an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast on shore while the billows roll, fastened to the rock which cannot move, grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. It is safely moored. Will the storm withstand? For it is well secured by the Savior's hand, and the cables pass from his heart